Tuesday, April 28th. Still April, still beautiful. Billy's in his backyard today. It's a nice sunny day in New York and on Long Island. And this is Slice of Life. That's Billy Horner. My name is Keith Rath. This is the 17th show, and we always kick it off with favorite social slice. I will start first. The Last Dance is getting into pop culture, into the vernacular. I love it. And we're starting to see how memes are made. Everyone's watching the show. Everyone's on social. Everyone's kind of living in this, like the Twitter is the sports bar of the world kind of thing. And the other night, The Last Dance did a deep dive into Dennis Rodman. And there was that famous clip of him now, which is him showing how he rebounds. Ball bounces like this. I go that way. Ball bounce. It's a crazy, like 45-second clip. And now everyone's starting to run with it. And I'm starting to love these social dives. Jen Johnson with the Frisco Rough Riders found her own take. Said it's like lining up kids for Field of Dreams, which we get a kick out of course, working in minor league baseball. But that was one of the better videos. And I think Dave Pasch, who's the famous ESPN broadcaster who does all those games with Bill Walton out west at like 10:30 at night when Arizona's playing Washington in the Pac-12. And he's just going like, looking at Dennis Rodman. Where do you think Bill Walton came from? The same planet that Dennis Rodman did.
Yeah, that was that when you were watching Last Dance, there's certain things that happen and you're like, yeah, that's absolutely going to be a meme for the next however long. And that was one of those moments. My personal favorite was anytime you ask your mom for directions. And that was throwing that video in there. With you go this way, then you go up, and then you go to the right, and then you go left, and then you go up and then down. And that made me laugh because that's definitely having a conversation with my mother. So I laughed about that. But it was also super interesting to see Dennis Rodman and the care he took in his craft of rebounding, which as a former basketball player, I thought that was pretty interesting to see as well. For my social slice, I have something that's been kind of trending here on Instagram and Twitter recently. And who says romance is dead? We are a month and a half into quarantine. And as the wave is starting to crash in terms of the coronavirus here in New York, I also think it's starting to crash in terms of you wanting to punch your loved one in the face, being stuck inside the same house with them for a little bit. So the wave of annoyance is also sort of crashing as well. So a new trend that has been sort of taking over Instagram and Twitter slowly are quarantine date nights. So a few of my favorites. First up, we have from @XO Gossip George, who is a comedian in Chicago, who participated in a date night that was inspired by the TV show Chopped. The couple used mystery baskets full of items from their pantry and fridge to cook each other dinner. And the results, as they described later on in their feed, was a very questionable fajita and a salad that was terrible. So I think we're all at that stage of quarantine where we have some noodles and crackers and bacon bits and chicken noodle soup. Make something. But my personal favorite that I saw was from @Mike_2192, who turned his back patio into a mini golf course. So mini golf was sort of a standard date night when I was like in high school, early college, summertime. Go hit up some mini golf and then go someplace, wherever, a party or whatever you're going to do. So I thought this was pretty cool and a very creative way to spend some time here while you're in quarantine.
Yeah, the first one, the Chopped one, by the way, Chopped, one of the best shows. You could just get lost in like 8 Chopped shows in a row on Food Network. But I feel like every night I'm a chef is not the right word, but cooker is not the right word either. I cook dinner a lot. So I feel like every night is starting to become chopped a little bit. Like the other night I went over to the windowsill, grabbed a little bit of basil and threw it in. Turns out it was a piece of a succulent. I didn't realize it. But, that's all we had left. So I definitely feel the pain. Chicken Parm Heroes time. Billy, go right back to you for this one. What did you find?
So as we've learned during this time of COVID-19, not all heroes wear capes, but sometimes they do. So my hero for today is Daniel Askew, who is in Australia and created a Facebook group called the Bin Isolation Outing. It's a page dedicated entirely to people posting pictures of themselves getting dressed up to take out their trash. The group has over 1 million followers, and features photos of people wearing costumes like Deadpool or Wonder Woman, their Sunday best, prom dresses, wedding dresses, tuxedos, you name it. Somebody's getting dressed up and taking out their trash with it. But I'll give you some of my favorites. First and foremost, we have this couple who recreated the scene from Titanic with Jack and Rose, where there was absolutely room for two. And in this instance, the wife is laying on the top of a garbage can like it is the raft. And then the leader in the clubhouse probably will stay there forever, is this quartet of people who dressed up like Gilligan's Island, complete with a raft of their own to take out the trash. Just great creativity, great way to have fun. I was joking with my wife earlier that I don't remember the last time I wore pants. I've had shorts on, I think, every day for the last 6 weeks. I've worn a hoodie of some kind, probably. So wearing a shirt and tie again, or wearing pants that, cover my calves, are going to feel very weird when life gets back to normal. So it was pretty cool to see people get creative and get dressed up in these situations.
To me, living in New York City, where, I live in an apartment building with other people, I feel the pressure of just simply putting a mask on, going downstairs. That's enough for me, because you can hardly breathe in these things. But if I go down there without a mask, literally just open the front door and drop it in the garbage, people look at me without a mask. They think I'm some sort of psycho nut out there to get them. So hilarious find. Here's one for you. My chicken parm hero. Bill, question: what is red, white, and blue?
I don't know, Keith. What is it?
It's a sad candy cane. That's just one of the jokes that 6-year-old Callahan McLaughlin has been spewing from his joke stand in his driveway in British Columbia. I love the gumption and the entrepreneurship of this kid. He missed his friends. He missed the classic kid lemonade stand. So he figured, apparently his parents got him a one-liner joke book, which I had hundreds of those in my house when I was growing up. They're just something you're sitting around, you read them. And now he's sitting in his driveway reading one-liners to people, or just spewing one-liners. It's amazing. The best part is he starts his first set at 10 a.m. And in his words, he takes a 12-minute lunch break, which mom corrected and said it's actually 90 minutes because he's 6 years old and doesn't understand the concept of time yet. And then he gets back out there again. So good for you, Callahan. Keep working. I was watching a little bit of it. His delivery still needs a little bit of emphasis. He's sort of just saying the joke. He needs to really plow it home, but great start for a kid who's definitely going to be a comedian for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I love dad jokes. I have been telling dad jokes long before I was a dad. So this is right up my alley. And along these lines, I saw there's a town in Alaska, I think it might have been Juneau, where they set up a phone line for residents to call and get a joke told to them over the phone, because people have been socially distanced. So not seeing people, not interacting with people. So they set up a joke line to give everybody a laugh. And within the first day, it crashed because there was such a demand for it. So they had to reevaluate everything and get some IT guys on the case. But this is great. I love this kind of stuff. And just a kid being a kid, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll jump into sports. I'll take this one first. I had no idea. I don't know. These things you would never put together. But Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, offensive lineman for the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, apparently was already a doctor, one of the first medical doctors in the NFL. He got his doctorate in medicine in Montreal. He's Canadian. So he doesn't have a specialty yet. He hasn't done his residence. Wins the Super Bowl, does the whole party, goes to the Caribbean with his wife, and is starting to follow the whole coronavirus thing, and then flies home just as Canada says, shut down for anyone coming into the country, quarantine for 14 days, yada, yada, yada. Life happens. And now Laurent is, as of last week, working as a nurse, as a doctor, fighting on the front lines of this thing in Canada. I mean, it's just insane. You wouldn't think of an offensive lineman. Literally, his job is to push other big people around for hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. Is now a medical doctor. Yeah,
it sort of puts to rest the idea of the dumb jock, where a guy has has a medical degree, but also as an offensive lineman. So it's been unbelievable. I've seen a couple different stories like this with different people in different walks of life. There was a Nick City dancer that was a nurse that decided she was going to go back into nursing because of this. So it's very interesting to see the diversity that people have, and someone like this who's an NFL football player that can also, perform medical procedures and things like that.
He was talking about draft day, 2014, second day of his draft, of the NFL draft in 2014. He's in the ICU helping with an emergency C-section and gets drafted by the Chiefs the next day. And it's like, you're insane, man.
Yeah, you're insane, and it really makes you feel inadequate in everything. If this guy can be a nurse and a football player, and here I am in my backyard talking about people having mini golf courses on their patio.
You're really good at it, though, Billy.
So for my sports story, I'm going to give you some advice here, Keith. This is if you never listen to anything else that I tell you. I want you to listen to this as you're getting ready to get married. Never bat flip on your wife. Noah Vaughn, who spent each of the last 2 seasons in the New York Penn League playing for the Vermont Lake Monsters. So Cyclones fans may have seen this guy, his swing at least, prior to seeing this video that's sort of gone viral. And his wife, Riley, who plays softball at Texas A&M, or played softball at Texas A&M, and plays professional fast-pitch softball currently. They went viral yesterday when their backyard BP session got a little bit aggressive. Noah took his wife yard and completely disrespected her with a bat flip for the ages. Although she didn't respond with some chin music, she got her revenge. Take a look.
Oh, God.
So here's a bit of a backstory. Noah was a member of the Oakland Athletics organization and was recently released. So he's staying in shape in hopes of signing with a new team. Riley also plays professionally. She plays for the Scrapyard Fast Pitch team in Texas. So the couple is staying at Riley's parents' house, and every day they play at least 2 innings against each other in the backyard. And that is relationship goals for me. Playing in the backyard, playing 2 innings with your wife, that's a nice way to spend some time. And honestly, being stuck with your fiance for 6 weeks at this point, wouldn't it be a little nice to just take out some frustration and go yard and just absolute upper tank moonshot and a Jose Bautista-esque bat flip just to stare her down and run around the bases, just get that frustration out? That'd feel pretty good. I get it.
Yeah, right now I think the only bat flip I do is when I'm the last person to finish the coffee pot and I just boom. You gotta make yourself a new one. That's probably all the fun that I have right now. I'm also so happy that this video happened because, as you know, as an intent listener of the Brooklyn Cyclones radio network, for some reason, the last 2 years we go to Vermont, every game we play is 33 to 45, and it takes 7 hours to finish. And usually Noah Vaughn's in there somewhere, either walking 8 times, striking out 5 times, something to really prolong the game. So instead of being reminded of all those hot nights in Vermont, it's nice to think of Noah Vaughn in this kind of sweet light.
And they were able to track down Riley yesterday, and she did a phone interview with ESPN where she said that their relationship is always extremely competitive. She used an example where they had recently completed a game of Monopoly, which was unheard of because I have never finished a game start to finish of Monopoly ever. So that by itself was crazy. But she said her husband ended up winning and dumped all of the money on top of her as the game ended, like she had just won the Super Bowl, to completely just disrespect her. And she kept that anger inside and let it all out on that pitch from her husband later on when she was taking BP. So great video, sort of something we can all relate to, and certainly fun.
Absolutely. All right, Bill, good stuff. 17 in the books, baby. We'll see you tomorrow on Hump Day number 18.
Go get them.